Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and today we took a banger trade during AM session. I was about to not take this, but I got over my fear of losing. All right, I had a whole losing streak for about a week or two, and if you know, you know. If you're in the Discord, you know for a fact that I've been trading emotionally, but we're not doing that anymore. And this is proof of concept that when you trade by your rules and you leave your shit to run, it works, bro. Genuinely works. 99% psychology, 1% strategy. Anyways, I know you want to see what trade I took. I don't want to keep anyone waiting anymore because I used to do that. I usually do that for like 5 minutes before I actually dive into the analysis. Today we're going to go right in, okay? Because I want to hit the gym. There's no time to fuck around. So, took this trade today during AM session. Initially, I had a bearish bias because we were quite overextended here. Well, not really overextended, but we had loads of stop losses lined up here. You can clearly see this is like trend line liquidity over here. We're just racking up stop losses here. I think ES as well started making equal lows moving into AM session. I took the trade after I saw this because, you know, the setup was just too good. Even though ES or the S&P had equal lows, you know, this tells us that we might come down here later today during PM session, but we'll have to see, right? So again, I had a bearish bias, loads of stop losses to run over here before taking a long or some sort of short down to these lows because we had a bearish SMT before market open. Pre-market, we had a bearish SMT, and that only told me one thing. We might come down, we might take all of these stop losses. Okay, so that was my initial bias, right? But then we started reacting off of a fair value gap somewhere on the shorter time frames. Yeah, so we were kind of dumping here. I would have taken a short in here to, like, you know, the relative equal lows that we took over here. It's these two lows on the Nasdaq, these 5-minute lows inside of a fair value gap as well. Okay, so I took this, or I was about to take a short here. I did take a short, but my gut just told me, you know, this is not a good setup. I closed out at a minor profit because we made a bullish SMT and we were inside of this large gap over here. All right, it's better to protect your profits and to realize this is not a good setup. I'm in profit right now. I'm going to close the setup because it's genuinely garbage. All right, if it was a good setup, I'd probably hold it. But that's because we didn't get any like good manipulation moving into market open. We only really had that SMT, right? So, and yeah, we inverse this 5-minute gap as well. So that's the reason why I took why I took this short down here. And also the reason why I closed out of it, because I just didn't like the idea. But it would have played out anyway, right? Cool, but we want to be on the safer side of things. We saw a longing opportunity. I saw a longing opportunity as opposed to the short that I was going to, you know, take. So we did take those relative equal lows to short down to. And I saw a long setup out of that actually, right? I knew that if we took those lows, we're also inside of a 5-minute gap here. And we are touching an order block as well. I think this is a 15-minute order block. We tapped into a 15-minute order block. At the time of this impulse leg over here, you could say that we were also in a discount. Here's the order block, by the way. So we reacted out of those things. We had the order block, we had the fair value gap, and we had an SMT as well. If we compare the two over here, ES made equal lows with this low over here from AM. But I think, yeah, we have a stronger SMT on one of these other lows over here. So we had an SMT, we had a good reaction, we took relative equal lows, we were inside of a fair value gap, and we had an order block. This is the key to perfection, okay? Because it includes the order block as well. This is like one of the best setups that I could have taken because our target here is this liquidity, all right? And what liquidity am I talking about? I'm talking about this trend line liquidity right here, okay? If there's one thing I know from screen time and just from the people I've learned from, trend line liquidity is a really good target because the market wants to take all of these stop losses. Look, we've got one area for stop losses here, another area for stop losses here, third area, fourth area. And you see how clearly these points touch each other? This is clear low resistance liquidity. And after taking all of these, you know, I took my position up to the last draw on liquidity, which is up about here. If I had my magnet on, there you go. Or this one here, because we already took this high with this high over here. Yeah, I could have held up to this high over here. And the reason for that is because it's a really prominent high. This is not only an hourly high, but it is also, I think it's like a high of day, previous day high. Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, this is a Monday high right now. This is a daily high that we're looking at. And we took that daily high, all right? And the reason for that, or why we took that high as well, is because not only because it's a good draw in liquidity, but because we took all of these stop losses here, right? And because people are getting stopped out here, right? They place sell orders. The people who place their stop losses here have to buy back their position, right? Buying back means up. Buy up, right? Pretty self-explanatory. So from the move of that low resistance liquidity, and this prominent high over here, we have enough momentum in the market with the institutional market movement as well in order to take that high. So I could have targeted that prominent previous day high or Monday high here for a much better risk to reward, but we have to take that into consideration next time because we missed out on that. Okay, I completely forgot the basics of how trendline liquidity works. If you want to know how it works, I can give you a little rundown in my Discord server, our Discord server. Trying to build a massive trading family the last quarter of this year, and I really can't stress this enough. I want you to be a part of that growth, okay? Really, just like, I don't want you to miss out on the sort of growth that people have in today's age. Like, if anything right now and at this age, probably like 18 to 25 is the best age to try and do some form of money making online, right? And again, right, I don't preach money making, trading, all this shit. I'm not one of these fucking gurus, right? I'm unprofitable. I don't sell anything. I'm here to help people, right? I mean, that's really what I'm here to do. I want to make people happy and I love helping people, right? So become a part of that growth and we can probably become profitable together. I'm saying probably like it's not going to happen. It's certain, okay? It's very certain because I have a very strong mindset and I'm sure you do too. But what's better? Trading alone or trading around a group of people who have the same way of thinking as you, right? It's environmental change. You're adapting your environment to what others think as well, right? It's like an ether. It's this energy shit. I'm not gonna dive into that, right? That's a whole fucking lecture that I could do on just like positive mindset and energy and all this shit. It matters more than you think, okay? If you walk into trading with a bad mindset, game over, bro, all right? I dealt with that for 2 weeks because I was undisciplined in my life. And trading in life, I say this almost every video, they're very correlated. If one mismatches the other or they're opposite, you're disciplined in trading but not in life, you can't be disciplined in trading, bro. I just cut a whole segment of the video where I talk about Boolean logic, bro. That shit was more boring than watching ICT, bro. So I'm not gonna add that to the video. But in case you do wanna know how, like, I just gave it like a Boolean logic analogy to trading, hit me up in the Discord, I'll let you know. But yeah, this was the trade that we took today. We might be able to take a trade during PM session. We'll have to see. We've got another 2.5 hours for that. I've got to upload this trade recap and I've got to go to the gym. So we'll see how quickly we can do this and then potentially to trade PM session after that, okay? Let's try and see what happens. But usually what I tend to do is I stream my PM sessions on the Discord. So if you want to know my thought process behind my trading and what strategy I trade inverse fair value gaps. And by the way, this trade was taken off of this 1 minute inversion over here. It's very tiny. If you look at the NASDAQ, it's small as well, but it counts, honestly. It genuinely counts. The market out here. These tiny little gaps here, the last one in the stack, this is the reason I entered, all right? My trading strategy is inverse fair value gaps. And because we inverse this fair value gap after all the other bullish confluences we got, that shows us that there's a change in order flow. And that change in order flow tells us, we're probably going to be bullish and probably going to reverse here because of everything else that's telling us, right? So that's the trade we took today. We're up like $300 plus the small amount of profits I took from that short, although it wasn't as good. Again, it would have played out, but I wasn't confident enough with it. It just goes to show that I was really confident with my position here, and that's why I held through with it, okay? You need to know before you trade, is my position actually worth taking? Will I be mad if I lose this setup, okay? Big, strong, important fact right there. All right, but that's everything for today, I guess. I don't think, We might trade PM session, we might not. So stay tuned for that. But there's not really much else to say. I mean, we took a really nice trade today and I'm happy, okay? I'm taking my funded evaluation out of the depths right now. So getting that back to 50K and then getting back to the profit margin, which is 3.5K on the 50K account. It's going to take a little bit of time, but again, we've learned so much this last month, these last 2 months, that shit's bound to go well from here, right? So that's everything for today, right? Again, like I said, if you want to catch up with everything, catch up with life and everything, Discord link in the description. And yeah, peace the fuck out. See you boys when we take another trade.